Hi, this is Larry with ManCave Mayhem. This is the beginning of episode 3 on the 1965 Honda CB160 Resurrection. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Check us out at Instagram at ManCave_Mayhem. Also check out my Amazon affiliate link. I got a lot of these cool parts and items that I use in my videos linked down below. Let's get on with the video, baby! All right, so what I like to do while I'm waiting on parts is just kind of go around and start cleaning things up, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to work on getting this back fender off. I pulled this shock, and you can see it's pretty shiny, but there's still some, pitting and stuff. So I kind of just cleaned that up a little bit, cleaned the bolts up. If you see that compared to this rusty one here, you can see all the rust and crap on it. So this one needs to be pulled off, but you kind of see a comparison there. There's that one, and there's this one. So it makes a little bit of a difference. So I'm just going around polishing things up. I'm going to clean the cases up a little bit. Nothing crazy, just it'll be patinaed, like I said, but it'll have some nice shiny parts on it. And it also, when you use the, the metal polish, it kind of protects it too. So that's what I'm doing. All right, today we're working on the 1965 Honda 160. I've got the rear wheel off. I took the rear tire off, sitting over here, and waiting for tires on this. So I put a new, kind of cleaned the rim up a little bit, not 100%, but there's some rust in here, so I cleaned it up. Put a new tire band on it, and it's just waiting to have the new tire put on. So we're gonna get that done here shortly. Hopefully, tires are coming today. So if they come today, we're gonna be putting tires on the bike. I still gotta pull this front one, get the front fender off. So I gotta do some disconnecting here, but we'll get it done. Working on motorcycles is not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. Especially old ones. Well, let's shake this concoction up a little bit before we dump it. See where we are with the debris. Still getting chunkies out, just not as many, which is a good thing, right? Just got to keep going. Hopefully soon here we'll be done and we'll have a clean tank. Until then, we just keep plugging away. All right, just want to give you a quick update on the gas tank. This is the solution that I strained. This is just one time. I've gotten probably 10 times that amount out of the gas tank. So there's a lot of uglies in the gas tank. I can't really show you how clean it is, but it's definitely getting cleaner. I just wanted to update you on that. That's all for now. All right, tonight in typical fashion, I am going to be working on a hot summer day in flip-flops and shorts, pulling the front tire off this CB160. So I've got the back tire off. It's all set in the corner here, ready to go. I got to get this front wheel off and tire and get it all prepped. I got to get the tire and tube off of that so I can get it ready. I got tires coming tomorrow that are the correct size, so I can get those mounted. I want to pull that front fender and start working those fenders, getting those sanded and prepping those for paint. So that's the plan for tonight. So I'm taking you along with me on this restoration or rescue process for the Honda CB160. So stick around and you get to watch me work and struggle with this tire. That's all for now. right, folks, I'm in a good place and I'm in a bad place. I got the whole front fender off and the front tire off. I'm gonna change that tire tomorrow, it's getting late. The reason I'm in a good place is I got this all apart. The reason I'm in a bad place, well, I got a broken speedo cable. So what that tells me is that those original 1,500 miles are not really the original 1,500 miles. So, oh well, win a few, lose a few. It's still got good compression. So my hope is that it doesn't have much more than that on it, but it could have a ton more, who knows. But anyhow, we got it torn down pretty much as far as we're gonna tear it down. And now it's just a matter of getting the parts and putting it back together. And you're gonna watch that happen. Tomorrow, we're gonna get rid of this tire, clean up the rim, and you'll have 2 naked rims, and then we're getting tires tomorrow afternoon. We'll start putting those on and getting this bike back together. So that's all for now. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get this tire off the frickin' rim. And there's no fun way to do this. I usually put some blocks down or something just to kind of protect the rim, but it's a pain in the butt. Doesn't matter how you do it. I don't care what anybody says. I think putting tires on and taking them off are a pain in the butt. But we're gonna get that started, get this rim cleaned up. Hopefully we'll get some tires today. We can get those mounted. And then that will be another part of the project that will be done. Like I said before, I had to order a speedo cable because the speedo cable's broke. I've got good compression. I'm gonna go through, since now I don't know what the mileage is on it, I'm gonna probably go through before I even start it and stuff and adjust the valves and do, you know, maybe do even a compression check on it. But I think we'll be good. I think we should be good. Who knows? All right, now that we got the tire and tube out, we're gonna go after this with some mothers and clean it up and set it aside. We'll put the new rim band on there and we'll be waiting for tires and tubes. She's starting to come together finally. I also need to start sanding on the fenders over there. So got to get going on that. So that's probably what we're going to be doing today. All right, kind of show you guys what I'm doing right now. I've been working on this front rim, and you can see there Honda uses some kind of clear coat, it looks like, because you can kind of see where I'm taking it off with steel wool. So I'm going to try and get this down as best I can. I'm not a professional polisher, but I'm just going to use a couple different grades of steel wool to get this down, and then I'm going to hit it with some mothers and call it good. It's not going to be 100%, but it'll be better than what it was. So that's kind of where we're at on this. And then, you know, I got this rear brake. You can see how nasty that is. I'm going to try and clean that up a little bit, and also the front brake hub. So I got a lot of work cut out for me. So that's what I'm doing, kind of killing time till the tires come. So that's it for now. All right, I'm still working on the rim. Cleaned it up a little bit. It looks a lot better than it did. Here's the old foot pegs. They're pretty nasty. Not safe at all. So we got some new foot pegs. Hopefully they'll fit. And we're gonna go ahead and put those on the bike. Get those on. Once those are on the bike and the tires come, then we can start getting the tires ready. Then we'll move to sanding and getting those fenders prepped. I also have to order a chain, so that's the other process that I'm going through. Still soaking the tank, still getting debris out of it, so we're gonna continue that process. This has been polished a little bit, but not enough, so I need to work on that. But yeah, here's the foot pegs. I pulled the old ones off, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the new ones on. We'll see how they look after they're on. All right, we got the foot pegs on now. They look pretty good. They're not the factory style pegs, and they felt almost a little loose. They were snug, but not super tight. So I used some 3M adhesive. So I glued those babies on there. I don't think they're coming off. So that's a good thing. We don't want foot pegs coming off when you're riding. So that's where we're at now. Still working on the rims. I ordered a new chain. Sprockets look pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that. I ordered a X-ring chain for it instead of just a standard chain, so that'll be coming in the mail. Still working on the tank and waiting for my tires. Hopefully when they come, we can start mounting those babies up. All right, we're kind of looking here. We'll see. Mostly I'm seeing gray. I did get a few more chunks out, but we're hoping that we're almost ready to pull this tank and start using it. It's looking good. All right, the tires are here, so we're gonna get these unwrapped, kind of set them in the sun, and start getting ready to mount them up on the rims, and then we'll finish cleaning these rims up and set those aside, and that'll be another step in the process. Then we got to start working on fenders and getting the body, or the fender, the sanding done on the fenders. I got a little bit of Bondo, or I got to pound out some of these dents and Bondo them up. But other than that, we're making progress. I also need to get this tank dumped out again. I think we're getting to the end of that where it's getting pretty done. Things are starting to come together. Still waiting on parts from Europe, well, the EU, for the intake. So I need that to come. But anyhow, we'll get started on this, get these these tires in the sun, soften them up a bit, and then we'll get these things mounted. That's all for now. All right, we got those tires mounted up. They are IRC tires. I'm just gonna balance them out. I got the front tire on here right now, getting ready to balance it. This thing is a game changer. They call it a Baja no pinch. This one's like a generic one, but man, what a game changer for putting your tire back on. It makes it so much easier. I recommend it highly. It's not made for taking your tire off, but for putting it back on, wow, it was so much easier. I will never go anywhere without that in my bike. Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and get these tires balanced. Then we'll move on to the next step. All right, it's super hot and sunny out here in Southern California. I'm working in the shop today. Oops, knocking over fenders. I'm actually at the point now, I'm waiting on some spoke weights so I can balance this tire. Once I balance this tire, I had some metal weights, stick-on weights. I don't like the way those look, so I got some spoke weights coming. But anyhow, long story short, we're gonna get the tires balanced on this. In the meantime, I'm gonna start stripping these fenders down. I've got some paint stripper I think I'm gonna use on these side cases, and if it works good, I'll use it on the fenders. If not, I'll just sand the fenders. I do have to do a little body work on that front fender. Back fender's cherry. So that's where we're at. We're gonna get some paint stripper going and put it on these side cases and clean those up and get them primered and ready for paint. Next week, I'm gonna start painting these things, and I'll show you how I do that. I got, like I said, I got the paint that is called for. I think they call it cloud gray or cloud silver. So we're gonna get started. Here we go. All right, this paint stripper's working really good. Actually, took quite a bit off. I'm just going for the last little bit of the silver, getting it down to the metal. I got some really good quality primer that I'm gonna prime those with. Once there's one little ding in the side of the one side case, so I'm gonna fill that with some body filler and do a little body work on that. But I think I'm gonna use that stripper on these fenders too. It just went really quick, so that's a good thing. So I'm gonna get to doing that. Still waiting for my weights. When those come, I'll show you how we balance the wheel here. It's not even in balance. I left the old weights on, but it still wasn't fully balanced, but it's close, but not where it needs to be. So we're gonna get that balanced, and we'll balance the other tire. And then once the fenders are done this week, we can start putting this bike back together. I'm excited to see what the final product's gonna be. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and check us out at Instagram at ManCave_Mayhem. Also, check out my Amazon affiliate link. There'll be some good products in the description. That tire tool that I used, I will include that in my store. The thing works great. So you just have to be careful as to what diameter your axle is. So you have to check that before you use it and make sure you have the right diameter. I had originally bought that for our trail bikes and it didn't fit, so I had to purchase another one, but I'll include both those in the links in the description. So I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, we're out in the shop. We got some of that paint off these fenders. I got one more fender left that I need to take the paint off of, the front fender. But here's the other fenders. They look pretty dang good. I'm gonna have to sand them. I'll probably start doing that tomorrow. Finish stripping this front fender, get these all sanded, and then I'm gonna start putting, patching some dings, fixing the front fender a little bit, straightening it out. But tonight we're gonna be working on balancing these wheels. So kind of want to figure out where it goes. I'm just looking for it to stop. Where it settles in, the top will obviously be the lightest area and the bottom will be the heaviest, but I got to pull the weights off this thing first. I had thrown some weights on this before, and I don't want to use those weights anymore because I think they're ugly. So we're going to take those off. Anyhow, I'll get those off in a minute. I got some... The names crack me up. D-wheel. I got some weights for D-wheels. But anyhow, they're brass weights. I don't know how much better looking these will be, but there's some big freaking weights. Some of them are smaller, but they're supposed to be reusable weights. I thought I'd give them a try. And they got a key with Allen screws. I'll probably use a little Loctite on them because I love Loctite. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. But anyhow, we're gonna get this thing settled out once I get these weights off, and then we're gonna throw some weight on this wheel and get it balanced. So we're just gonna let this thing, now I got those weights off, we're just gonna let this thing spin and settle. When it settles, I'll mark the top because that'll be the lightest point, and then we'll go from there. All right, so this is where the tire settled. Usually it does settle where the valve stem is. A lot of tires will have a dot on them, and that's what you put the heaviest in, opposite of the valve. Or no, you actually put the lighter in with the valve stem. So this one did not have a dot on it, so I just threw the tire on. So hopefully I can get this thing semi-balanced. But anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and mark this, and then we'll move it over 90 degrees. And then, yeah. We'll go from there. So I'm gonna take a pencil and mark this lightest spot here. You probably won't see that on camera, but I can see it. And then I'm gonna move it 90 degrees. Just make sure it settles in the same spot again. Once it does, then I'm gonna add weights there, and we'll do the same thing until it balances out. And then that tire will be balanced. All right. The wheel weights that are made of brass, they're kind of bulky looking, but it's a lot better, I think, than having a bunch of weights on the rim. I personally like it better, but it looks like this might settle down on the bottom. I don't know, this might be just a little bit too much weight. We'll see where it settles at. Just a little too much weight, swinging back. So that definitely made it the heavy spot. So we're gonna have to go lighter on that weight. But you can kind of get the idea. You basically want it to settle out. You spin it around and let it settle out. Now this is the heavy spot on the wheel. So we basically want to lighten this weight. So we'll go with a smaller weight. Next one smaller is this one. So we'll do it. All right, well, we got this one balanced pretty good. It varies, it jumps around all over the place, but it settles out. This is a little heavier on this side, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I got it pretty well balanced. Not the most beautiful looking wheel weight. I was thinking before that the other ones were ugly, but these kind of stand out like sore thumbs. But anyhow, long story short, that's what I'm gonna run for now. Let's get the back one on and get that one done. All right, I'm calling that done. We got both these tires mounted and balanced. They're ready to go on the bike. Now, tomorrow, I'll start on these. Take you guys along on that. We're gonna be painting these this week. Hopefully get that done. We can get those back on the bike, start mounting tires, and getting things together here. And then we'll just slowly get the bike. We're gonna get a rolling chassis going, and then we will start getting the carbs. I'm probably gonna pull the float bowls off the carbs and just check those seats and the needles. A lot of times, I guess those aftermarket carb kits can cause problems, so I may end up putting the old needle and seat back in the carburetor. And then I'm just gonna check the float settings and make sure those are right. And then we're probably gonna adjust the valves on this and get that and make sure that that's all good. Then we'll be ready to fire her up once we get the parts from the UK or whatever. Anyhow, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Check us out at Instagram at ManCave_Mayhem. Just remember, folks, I'm just a man in a cave causing mayhem. Thanks again for watching.